What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Peace Beyond Understanding. So yeah, those of you new here, I've been broken up with over 100 times by incredibly toxic, abusive woman, aka narcissistic, aka borderline, aka who cares. Toxic is toxic, abusive is abusive. If you're in a relationship with one of these people, you should get away and get away as quickly as possible. So yeah, today I just want to talk about the dangers of going back. And again, being someone who's been broken up with over 100 times and gone back, I'd say I more than have my degree in this subject. And again, I don't say any of this as a badge of honor or anything like that, but I've just been through it. So I'm here on the internet talking about this in hopes of you not going back and learning from some of my mistakes. So anyways, I know I've shared a video I just released, just on some of the things I lost and a whole bunch of other topics on that. So I'm going to try not to go on that on this video, but I realize, again, the toxic abuse space can be very lonely, and especially depending on what you went through, just finding others who can relate to some of the things that you've gone through, because we've all been through hard things, but, I chatting with somebody on the comments in a video from another creator's page today, and they were talking about, I had said something kind of simply on there, wow, man, I can relate to that, and then they were in a relationship for 6 years. And the reason they can relate to me is there's part of their story that they shared was that his ex would hit him when they weren't even fighting or they weren't looking, punch him in the back of the head. And then the last thing that happened, she had pulled a knife on him and put it up to his throat, and he had to call the police on her, type of a thing. And that's how their relationship ended. And it's that's how you relate to me, and it's I relate to that completely. I remember at times, I remember specifically sitting on her couch one time thinking she was in the kitchen doing something. I'll never forget this. And she kept reaching weird under the sink. And I literally was sitting there thinking, she's about to, because I knew she had a couple guns. I was like, she's going to pull a gun out and shoot me from the kitchen. That's how I was sitting there, and I stayed. It was just whatever, if it happens, it happens. Again, not the way to be about it, but yeah, that's pretty messed up. I don't know why I say that, but it's just it's tough. Because I say the things oh, I've been broken up with 100 times, and it's but to really understand what that means to have been broken up with 100 times, or the lies of the police, all the physical violence, all the all the things and whatever. It's a lot. And so I guess what I want to say today is that stuff didn't happen all at once or at the beginning. And so that's why I really want to harp on this, of the dangers of going back. I've shared in other videos. And again, if you're new to the channel, I have two phases of this channel. I have the 75 plus breakups when I first started the channel. And that was the first, year of my content. And I go through all types of stories on there. So if you're new here and you want to go back to that, I'll even probably make a playlist for that here. The kind of just the origins of this channel. And then when I came back here within the last couple months, that was after I went back to her. Now we're at 100 plus breakups. I'm yeah, it's done. But that's kind of the new wave that we're on. And I just kind of say that because I know some people are new here. I get a lot of people that are new watching this stuff more so than my subscribers or the people that have been on the channel for a while. But anyways, I'm just trying to share all this because if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If you're seeing these things, if you're on these videos right now questioning what you got going on, that's your duck right there. It's a duck. There's your sign. It's a duck. Get away. I wish I would have done that so much sooner. And here's the thing. I did do that so much sooner. So I wasn't always just oh, she just broke up with me and I just put up with this the whole time. I used to be me in the relationship. At the beginning, the first 6 months of the relationship, I was still me. And what do I mean by that? We met and it was a head over heels thing. She was in love. She found her husband, her soulmate. I found I remember the first time I walked into her apartment and we embraced in this hug. And it was just honestly, I remember that. It felt like it was I've been waiting for that feeling for a lifetime. A lifetime. And it's this, for me, it was this is a woman I was supposed to marry. I'm going to marry this woman. And she said the same things about me, felt the same things about me. And that energy I don't want to be an energy because all the people out here talking about energy, whatever. That momentum just built very quickly. But also on the second time I was seeing her, our second date, first date, really whatever, after our first date, whatever, second time together, as I shared in other videos, she asked me about a time in my life that I was vague about. And then I ended up, I never tell anybody about this. I never tell anybody about this time in my life. And I've kind of started to talk about that a little bit. I'm trying to be more bold about my stuff because it's just part of my testimony I've wanted to talk about. And this was before the relationship. But I was you know what? I already feel I'm in love. This is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to marry this woman. You know what? I'm going to tell her. And I shared with her. And then her response was, like, I never tell anybody. So I was so, like, I've never been that vulnerable with somebody before. Like, I'm just like, I don't know you. I haven't known you long, but like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I don't tell anybody this. And again, her response was, no way, you're an effing liar. Oh, I don't deal with effing liars. There's no way that's true. No, you know, people don't do stuff like that. That's not a real thing. Like, you're just an effing liar. Get the F out of here. I don't deal with, and I remember sitting there and I was just like, I was so taken off guard because I was like, I don't share this with anybody. And that's the response I get. And then I remember sitting with her and I was like, you better be sure, like, this is what you want to do, because like, I'm about to walk out the door. Yeah, get the F out. I don't deal with effing liars. And like, I left. For me, that was it. I was done. I had never dealt with somebody like this in my whole life. Never dealt with somebody like this. Never had someone speak to me that way or question me that way or just whatever. Just speak to me, even speak to me that way. It was just like, forget this. I'm gone. Bye, Felicia, deuces. Like, and then my phone's blowing up. You know, not even 5-10 minutes later, my phone's blowing up. And I think texting me, whatever, got me on the phone again. This was, 5 years ago now. So like, somehow she said I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I had whatever lame excuse she had. Like, I remember this, I got pulled over and I just sat there. She's like, please come back, please come back, please come back. And I'm just like, what was that? What is it? It was so foreign to me. Someone behaving that way, acting that way was just so foreign. And it was just like, and I thought about it, and it's just like, okay, maybe whatever, we were drinking, we were whatever, like, hey, I can look past something. And, again, I felt like this was a woman I was going to marry. So I was like, okay, let's see what she has to say. And then I'm sure I got back over there. I'm sure, she love bombed the crud out of me. I know we were already being intimate at that time and whatever. And, then she built me up for the next like week or so. But like, it was like in the background, but then like I kind of kept going. And then the next thing happened. And then the next thing happened. And then the next thing. And I remember like in the first month, like she'd already ended things like 4 or 5 times, done all types of crazy stuff. And I was telling her, I remember telling her this at the beginning. And again, I promise I'm sharing all this for a reason. It's like, this is why the dangers of going back. But I was still being me at this time. Like, I remember telling her, it was like 3 weeks in, it was like, I can't talk to you anymore. Like, I still have all the text messages and stuff. Like, our whole, years of text. So, like, I have all of it, Again, don't stay in those places. That can set you back too. But like, it was like, I remember telling her, look, I can't even, like, I've never met somebody who was such a victim. Because like everything that happened, she'd do all this crazy stuff. And then like, even at the beginning, she would find a way to be the victim. And like, I've never said these types of words to somebody. I've never been in situations like this, but it's like, you're always the victim. Like, how are you always the victim in everything? No matter what happens, you're the victim. And I've never even told someone they're a victim before in all of my years on the earth. And like, yet I'm in this relationship. And I remember telling her, I was like, I can't even talk to you anymore unless there's a third party present. Like, this is just insanity. And again, I was always standing up for whatever and calling it what it was and stepping away. Like, no, I'm done with this. Like, and then days would go, oh, I'm so sorry and whatever. And I didn't mean it. And I remember at the beginning, she would tell me things like, I remember her saying, she didn't like who she was at the time. She'd been through a lot of trauma, her last relationship, her whatever. And then, she knows she's full of anger and she needs to let that go and this and that. And like, please just kind of bear with her. She gets through this tough time and whatever. And so, okay, give it benefit of the doubt. But like, I was boldly standing up to the stuff or leaving and being done. And then I remember there was a couple of like major things I had about the first month in, and then the story doesn't even matter, but I like, you know what, like, I'm done, stayed away from it. And then somehow, she hits me up a couple weeks later and, missing certain things about me. I won't even say what. And then me at the time was just like, whatever, like, I'll go back into it. And but then she ended up being more crazy and more signs there. And I got away for like 2 solid months at the beginning. I didn't, like, I'm done. Like, I'm not, this chick is crazy. Like, I'm done. That's where I was. Like, I ain't got time for that. Like, but that's where I was at the time. And so I say this again, this is the dangers of going back. There was only a couple times, like a time or two at the very beginning where I was like, no, I'm done and whatever. And I got away. I wish with everything inside of me. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this. Even at the first, we had our first encounter, then our first date. Our first date is where I got left standing on her doorstep and she wasn't there. And I'm not even going to get into the whys about it. I've shared it on a video in the past. I don't even feel like talking about it right now. But like, I was praying to God. I was like, God, if this feels so real, if this isn't it, just like make it clear. And then it was very clear. I was standing on her doorstep. She wasn't there and whatever. And I left. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm done. And then again, she, same thing, called me back and somehow got me back into it. And so like, I wish with everything that I would have broke. Like, I broke away. I left. I was like, I'm not doing this. And then her smooth as oil snake venom words got me back. And then the next thing, the couple days later, when I'm a liar, then got me back. And then all the other stuff, and then got me back. But then, like, I did finally break away, and I broke away for 2 months. But, like, I was always in my vehicle. Some of what I do, I'm in real estate. So, like, I was always passing by her apartment for 2 months. I kid you not, 5 times a day I was having to pass by her apartment. And it's like every time, like, I'm thinking about it again, because I got away from it, because this is crazy. She was crazy. It was crazy. I got away from it, though. Like, I didn't deal with that. Just like most of us, these red flags, whatever, these major things show up, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm done with that. But, like, again, you pass by someone's house that you thought you were going to marry in a very short amount of time, and it was incredibly intense, and all the stuff. Like, you guys know that have been here on the channel. If not, like I said, I'm going to make a playlist. You can see a lot of my previous stories where I go through a lot of the story time of what I went through. But, like, I got away. But, like, passing by day after day after day, and then, like, finally, she'd either message me a couple months later. I think she did, actually. Or I ended up saying something, and it's just like, we started talking a little bit back and forth. And then, yeah, the last time we had talked, she called me up drunk and had said something really just offensive. And when I was like, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm done. And then she tried to play dumb, like she blacked out. And, hey, what happened that last time we spoke? And I don't even know, and whatever. And it's like, I didn't even care about it at the time, Again, I know I'm ranting, but, like, I'm sharing all this for a reason. Got back into it with her. And again, the abuse and the manipulation that happened. I remember her, like, I told her, I was like, yeah, I've been passing by your house, like, literally 5 times a day. And every time I do, I think about you. Like, so for months I was thinking about it. I still was staying away. I was like, I'm never going to see this chick again. Like, whatever. But I was still thinking about her. And then I broke down and I reached out to her. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I reached out to her. But I remember this, like, after the fact. I tell her this. I'm passing by her all the time. I'm thinking about you. And then I don't know what it was. It was like, she said, what'd she say? She said, yeah, well, maybe you should start acting like a man, or maybe stop being such a female lady part, and be a man and get over here and whatever me kind of a thing. And although, like, it's a very offensive thing to say, like, it was in the sense too of, like, come over here for, what kind of a thing, but kind of like calling me out, like, why are you being such a girl? Like, I'm just gonna go with that. Why are you being such a girl? Get over here and act like a man. Like, you want to see me, I'm yours, and, like, come get this kind of a thing, and, like, it's again a kind of very confusing thing. It's like, because, like I said, this was the most beautiful woman in the world to me, and she definitely, love bombed and sex bombed the crud out of me at the beginning and all this stuff. And it's just like, and I fell into it. Lust got me into it, and I went back. And then she did really good for a short amount of time. And, like, so I say all of that. But after I went back that time and started seeing her, I'd already walked away from it several times. I walked away from it several times at the beginning. And she always found a way to get me back in. And then once I went back at that time, that's when she had me for the next 4.5 years and ripped me to literal shreds, where I've been clinging on to life on numerous occasions, been in all types of just crazy things I shouldn't have, just had my heart ripped out, stomped on, destroyed, put in a blender, and and more than that. Like I said, those of you that have been on here, and, like, incredibly violent. She's assaulted me 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 plus, who knows how many times. Thrown out naked in the middle of an ice storm, beat, hit, scratch, phone broke, this broke, stuff thrown at, lies to the police, lies to my friends, lies to my family, lies to my church, lies to everybody trying to smear me behind my back. Throughout the years, like, I'd be sitting there with her on the couch, like, I'm pretty certain, and at the same time, she's, like, texting people about me and how I'm a horrible monster and I'm harassing her, or I'm this or I'm that, and, like, we're probably sitting right next to each other. And just, like, always playing behind the scenes, trying to, like, destroy who I was. And, like, I wish so badly that I didn't go back from the beginning. Like, if I would have just stayed away at the beginning, I wouldn't be 5 years into this now, spilling my heart out over the internet. I'm grateful that God, all things happen for good to those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28, that's why I'm here. But, like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to give this story. I wish I hadn't gone through what I had, but I have, so that's what I'm here on the internet doing. But I'm just saying, if you made it this far on this video, and you're regardless of where you are in your relationship, if you're on a video like this, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. This person is toxic, abusive, manipulative, all the things. It doesn't matter. Narcissist, borderline, psychopath, sociopath, all the different whatever paths. Personality disorder, it doesn't matter what their label. Who cares what their label is? Who cares what their diagnosis is or isn't? If you're on content like this, get away. You are ruining your life. They are ruining your life. You are losing who you are day in and day out the longer you stay in this stuff. And take it from someone who's been broken up with over 100 times and all the other crazy things that I've been through. I more than know. And I'm not Mr. Know-It-All, but I've been through it, and I'm on here trying to save people so they don't have to go through something like I went through and what so many other people on this channel and the channels out there have been through. If they're lying to you, if they make you feel like wait, they did this horrible thing, but wait, they're making it feel like me. Is it me? If you're sitting there trying to if you know somebody has done something horrible to you, but then you're sitting there trying to figure out if it was actually you that did it, or you did something that actually deserved their horrendous behavior that you would never do to anyone if you were in the same circumstances or whatever it is, and it's abuse. They're lying and manipulating and gaslighting you. Get away. So again, the dangers of going back. If you go back, every time you go back, you're losing more and more and more of yourself. You're giving away more of who you are, what's important to you, like finances and friendships and purpose and all these things. You're losing more and more, that this person is sucking you dry from those things. The situation is sucking you dry. So again, I'm trying to be quick on this, but I didn't even plan on getting on here again. I'm at the gym, but whatever, here we are. Again, if you're finding this content helpful or you've been on the channel, please like, subscribe, share. And more importantly than that, if you can, share in the comments, what type of content you would like to see. What is most helpful to you? What types of videos do you like? Do you like the rants like this from just going off on whatever? Or do you like the Bible stuff? Or do you, just what is it that you would like to see from this channel, or types of content that you'd like to see, or what type of content would you like to see? I want to be out here helping. I don't want to be here in vain just talking, and it not be reaching people. But I feel that it is. So regardless of that, any comments, any feedback for what you like, what you don't like, I'm very receptive to. Also got to stay. I've had this channel for more than a year now, hit 300 subscribers today. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for subscribing. For those of you who are here or have been here or just joined, whatever it is, I really appreciate y'all. The channel kind of took off overnight when I first started it. I had 200 subscribers in the first week or two. And I've had it for more than a year now, and it took almost a year to get to 300, but we just hit the 300 mark. So just keep it going from here. And again, none of this is about me. Ultimately, this channel is about pointing to you. And I know I didn't really get on the whole God much at all in this video, but ultimately this is for healing through Christ and for us getting our lives back on track with Christ and just hearing what he has to say and getting healing from these toxic, abusive relationships. So again, know that you're not alone in what you went through. I love you. God loves you more. I'm really trying to grow this community and just offer the biblical insights, because I know a lot of the channels just talk about, the diagnostics of what NPD and BPD and all these things are, but I just don't see a lot of people sharing Christ, and that's what I'm trying to do. Share the love of God and what his healing powers can do. So again, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Till next time.